We're back, joined now by Steve Ritacco. He's the Chief Technology Officer with Tribal Rides International Incorporated. Their stock symbol's XNDA. Steve, welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much, Don, for having me. It's great to be back.
Now tell us again what the company does. It's been a while since we spoke with you.
Yes, well, we're actively disrupting the ride-sharing space, and we're out to compete directly with Uber and Lyft. It all started a little way back when we were figuring out how people would be utilizing self-driving vehicles and how they could make revenue from their self-driving vehicles when they weren't using them. And as that market's been a little slow to mature, we realized we could apply some of the same things we were doing into the rideshare space and compete directly with Uber Lyft.
So basically, you're offering rideshare drivers an alternative to what they're currently experiencing.
Yes, and really the main goal is to help them keep more money. Uber and Lyft take a pretty large share of the fare that they collect at the end of the ride, and really it's somewhat hard to justify, frankly. And I think a lot of the drivers are getting quite tired of it.
Well, last time we spoke with someone with your company, Don Smith, your Chief Financial Officer, he mentioned that revenue generation was right around the corner. How's that coming along?
Well, part of the reason I'm here today, and I'm happy to talk with you, is that our development plans have really come together, and we're in the process this very week of releasing our minimum viable product into both the Apple iOS App Store and the Android Play Store. So we're going to have a driver and a rider app in both of those stores as soon as we can get them approved, basically. And from there, we're beginning our early beta testing. We've lined up some drivers, and we're getting out there with it. The app accepts payments. The app allows the drivers to also accept payments not through us, and we collect our fees. So that should be our revenue event sometime in February.
So basically, people will be able to use you as opposed to Uber or Lyft.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's
it's
an
going to
exciting
take us a little
development
time to roll out nationwide, of course, but we're thrilled and really excited to be releasing and getting it out there in the market.
We've been talking with your company for a couple of years, and the development has gone along, and everything you guys have said you're going to do. Now, you mentioned at the top of the interview that the self-driving car aspect is moving a little bit slow. What do you anticipate in 22 for that to happen?
Well, part of what's holding up the self-driving cars doesn't appear to really be the technology. It's more about regulatory approvals on the vehicles. We are seeing in certain jurisdictions, like one that I know of right off the top of my head, San Francisco, where self-driving cars are out there now. But even in San Francisco, they're requiring that there be a driver behind the wheel, even though the driver isn't doing anything. So it's been a little slow in terms of general acceptance for this technology, but obviously it's going to happen. It's just a question of when. And I think the tribal rides model carries over great from ride sharing to self-driving cars. As a private owner of a self-driving car, when you're not using it, it can be earning money for you. And why not? Why have it sit in the driveway?
Well, that's what I think is really cool about the concept, is that you get home from work and you send your car out to make money for you.
Right. And it's also the place where the Uber Lyft financial model doesn't work at all, because why should they be collecting a third of the fare when they're, literally just connecting a rider to a car and giving a route?
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised the regulatory people haven't jumped on this self-driving car much quicker because of the whole COVID situation. If there's no driver in the car, there's no transmission of COVID.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Change is hard sometimes, though.
Yeah. So what's the company expecting of itself in the remainder of 22?
Well, we're really focused on the rideshare aspect of the application right now. And we have a lot that we want to do. I mentioned that this is our minimum viable product, but we're trying to incorporate social media aspects into our applications so that it becomes more of a community and sharing element into both the ride sharing and then ultimately the self-driving cars. So you can imagine that you have connections and you develop more connections over time, both with the drivers and passengers. And basically you have a select group that you prefer to travel with. Mm-hmm. And the app is going to facilitate that capability. And that's going to be a lot of the focus of our development through the end of the year. Right now we have the basic functionality that we need, but we're going to start layering in more of these sort of advanced capabilities that aren't out there with other rideshare applications.
Well, if you're driving or riding with Uber or Lyft and you're not satisfied, you soon will have an alternative. Tribal Rides Incorporated, stock symbol XNDA. Steve, pleasure having you on the program. Thanks for the update.
Thank you so much, Don.